First Chronicles, chapters 18 and 19. After this, David defeated the Philistines, subdued them, and took Gath and its surrounding villages from the Philistines' control. He also defeated the Moabites, and they became David's subjects and brought tribute. David also defeated King Hadadezer of Zobah at Hamath when he went to establish his control at the Euphrates River. David captured 1,000 chariots, 7,000 horsemen, 20,000 foot soldiers from him, hamstrung all the horses, and kept 100 chariots. When the Arameans of Damascus came to assist King Hadadezer of Zobah, David struck down 22,000 Aramean men. Then he placed garrison in Aram of Damascus, and the Arameans became David's subjects and brought tribute. The Lord made David victorious wherever he went. David took the gold shields carried by Hadadezer officers and brought them to Jerusalem from Tiptha and Kun. Hadadezer cities. David also took huge quantities of bronze, from which Solomon made the bronze basin, the pillars, and the bronze articles. When King Tou of Hamath heard that David had defeated the entire army of King Hadadezer of Zobah, he sent his son Hadaram to King David to greet him and to congratulate him because David had fought many wars. Hadaram brought all kinds of gold, silver, and bronze items. King David also dedicated these to the Lord, along with the silver and gold, and carried off from all the nations, from Edom, Moab, Ammonite, Philistines, and the Amalekites. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, struck down 18,000 Edomites in the Salt Valley. He put garrison in Edom, and all the Edomites were subject to David. The Lord made David victorious wherever he went. So David reigned over all Israel, administering justice and righteousness for all his people. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was over the army. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was court historian. Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were priests. Shavasha was court secretary. Benai, son of Jehoiada, was over the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were the chief officials at the king's side. Sometime later, King Nahash of the Ammonites died, and his son became king in his place. Then David said, "I'll show kindness to Hanun, son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me." So David sent messengers to console him concerning his father. However, when David's emissaries arrived in the land of the Ammonites to console him, the Ammonite leader said to Hanun, "Just because David has sent men with condolences for you, do you really believe he's showing respect to your father? Haven't his emissaries come in order to scout out, overthrow, and spy on the land?" So Hanun took David's emissaries, shaved them, cut their clothes in half at the hips, and sent them away. It was reported to David about his men, so he sent messengers to meet them. Since the men were deeply humiliated, the king said, "Stay in Jericho until your beards grow back, then return." When the Ammonites realized they had made themselves repulsive to David, Hanun and the Ammonites sent 38 tons of silver to hire chariots and horsemen from Aram Naharaim, Aram Makkah, and Zobah. They hired 32,000 chariots, and the king of Makkah, with his army, who came and camped near Medeba. The Ammonites also came together from their cities from the battle. David heard about this and sent Joab and all the elite troops. The Ammonites marched out and lined up in battle formation at the entrance of the city, while the kings who had come were in the field by themselves. When Joab saw that there was a battle line in front of him and another behind him. He chose some of Israel's finest young men and lined up information to engage the Arameans. He placed the rest of the forces under the command and his brother Abishai. They lined up in formation to engage the Ammonites. If the Arameans are too strong for me, Joab said, then you'll be my help. However, if the Ammonites are too strong for you, I'll help you. Be strong. Let's prove ourselves strong for our people and for the cities of our God. May the Lord's will be done. Joab and the people with him approached the Arameans for battle. Joab and people with him approached the Arameans for battle, and they fled before him. When the Ammonites saw that the Arameans had fled, they likewise fled before Joab's brother Abishai and entered the city. Then Joab went to Jerusalem. Then the Arameans realized that they had been defeated by Israel. They sent messengers to summon the Arameans who were beyond the Euphrates River. They were led by Shupshak, the commander of the Hadadezer army. With this was reported to David. He gathered all Israel and crossed the Jordan. He came up to the Arameans and lined up against them. When David lined up to engage, they fought against him, but the Arameans fled before Israel. And David killed 7,000 of their charioteers and 40,000 foot soldiers. He also killed Shophat, commander of the army. When Hadadezer's subjects saw that they had been defeated by Israel, they made peace with David and became his subjects. After this, the Arameans were never willing to help the Ammonites again.